Drink it in,
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in,
Cornbread! Cornbread! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Drink it in, Drink it in, Detroit Koolaid, Detroit Koolaid drinkers. What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Eric Ogre, right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast, and I'm bringing the energy off the top of, like, I don't even know if I know what to do. Like, the Detroit Lions lost a game. I mean, years ago, I was used to that, like, every week, 10 times a year, 12, whatever it is. Like, now it hadn't happened in 11 weeks or more. You know, it hadn't lost a game since, I don't know, me and the guy that's on the other end of the line attended the game. It was the only one they lost. The Lions lost. I got so much I want to talk about. I've got opinions. I've got rants. I've got takes. We don't even know where this show is going to go. Is it going to be positive Choppy versus Okri, negative Okri? Is it going to be Okri, Detroit Kool-Aid drinking and Chops down in the dumps all worried about everything? I don't know what's going to happen, but Choppy Chop at Chops in the D on the Twitterverse. You're there. You told me you're ready. And even if you're not, we know you're going to bring it. What's up, buddy?
Okri, man, this is, I think, let me count them now, only the second time we've had to come on the pod and do a show after a loss. And as you so eloquently point out, every single week they had not lost since the game we attended. I got my children telling me that, like, Dad, didn't you go to the Tampa game? Oh, yeah, son, I did go to the Tampa game. Did they lose that game? Yep, little Chopper, they lost that game. Yep. Okay. But yeah, listen, hey, it's another loss. We're 12-2. We're still the Kings in the North. We're still the head of the NFC. I think, do not expect to hear Eeyore down in the dumps, Okri, or Choppy Chop on this show. We ain't bringing it. Today we're serving up some Kool-Aid. Woo!
Drink it in, double-sided cornbread.
Cornbread!
Now, Chops, of course, every time you talk, I've got to say, like, I got like 18 comebacks. The first thing I want to know are the little choppers and children of yours. They're not these people that I had to rant on like a week ago, right? Where they think because me and you went, that's why we lost. They don't think if we wear, like, I don't know, blue jerseys with silver pants that we'll lose, yet when we wear all blues we always win. And then, oh, we wore the black this time and we lost, so now we can never wear that ever again. Like, please tell me they don't have that kind of thing going on, or, like, wearing the same socks or the same thing at their hockey games. Like, tell me they're better than that. I hope so.
Yeah, they're not the superstitious. They don't blame the losses on anything that Dad does or didn't do, but they just love it when I'm running. I get the old, Dad, give us a woo! And right now, the personal favorite of the little Lexi Lou, she goes, Daddy, give me the I'm on rock.
Oh, incredible. And I think the loud woo-wee needs to come back, because, like, you brought it early when you came on the show, then you had some mic issue, we couldn't get you go, you sounded like garbage. I think it's very crispy now. It needs to come back and be more full effect. I don't know that you ever, hit it like this. I mean, but you can keep trying. I mean, hashtag Choppy Likey, you could do some of those too.
Hashtag Choppy Liking.
Another good wooey. But Chops, like, I'm being all nice to you off the top. I mean, you had your luxurious vacation. I don't know if you went to the Bahamas or you're taking some mansion that you rented out for you and your wonderful family. I don't know what you're doing. All I know is you rarely show up on the pod. But when you do, we have fun. Like, I got an issue with you right off the top before we do Bills preview. We got stuff to talk about. Dan freaking Campbell, like, I'm disappointed in you, buddy. I'm very disappointed. You want to know why? You want to know?
Oh, please, Okri, tell me and the people why you're disappointed. Just another reason that you're upset with the Chopster. I can't wait. Let me hear it.
I'm disappointed in you because the first tweet I have to see from you nothing about our football team, nothing about the game, only about your quarterback. And oh, by the way, you're defending 500, he outplayed him. That was Matt Stafford-esque garbage from you, talking about stats you had late in the game that we were down 3 touchdowns, supporting your quarterback. I don't give a crap.
And I don't give a crap.
Exactly, Dan Campbell. What kind of numbers the hashtag golf train had, what you thought he did, how great you thought he played. We lost. The team lost. So that was so Bush League from you. I mean, I don't know what you were thinking. I mean, no one gives a crap about your quarterback when we take an L.
I don't give a crap.
Exactly, MCDC. So what do you got to say for yourself?
All right.
Listen, I don't have to defend myself. You know I've been the conductor of the hashtag golf train since day one. And if you look closely, my tweet was in response to all this Josh Allen love. Oh my God. You would have thought that Josh Allen just went out and was like, the savior of the football team. Like his team is crap and they only won because of him. Oh my gosh, he's the greatest, the greatest quarterback of all time. I think some knucklehead on Twitter was touting how he's, the greatest and, clear head and shoulders MVP, all this. Okay, great. Like, I'm not dogging Josh Allen. He had a great game. All I'm saying is, would the narrative have been different if the Lions won? If the stats were the same and the Lions won the game, would everybody be slobbing all over JG16's knob like they are Josh Allen right now on Monday morning? That's my question.
That's why I'm even more disappointed, because that's your comeback. Because first of all, Josh Allen played like the greatest game of his whole life. He was incredible. He did everything on the football field to beat us. We couldn't get him off the field worth anything. And you know better than anybody, Chops, who beat up the old number 9, Statty Matty Patty, that all those numbers were like after he went 3 and out twice, after we're down 14, 21 points. So why would you come on and not talk about the football team, disappointed in the loss? Hey, we fought to the end. All you brought up was some empty numbers and some yardage totals and tried to say, oh, my guy kind of played better than the guy who won, who dominated the football game. You know that's not right on so many levels. That was garbage.
Dude,
Nope.
We lost by 6 points. Yes, I understand we scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. They also scored 13, but we lost by 6. We are one successful onside kick, or one stop away from actually winning that game. So I don't want to hear about empty stats. He did everything that he needed to do to keep us close, get us back in that game. We are one possession away from winning that game. So it's not like we were down by 40 the whole game or 21 the whole game. We came back. We lost by 6. The empty stat rule with Matt Statty was we still lost the game by 4 touchdowns, but he still threw for 4 touchdown passes. No. This was completely different. We lost by less than a touchdown.
No, there were all those late almost, should have had it. Oh, look, we only lost. Look at my numbers. Look at what the quarterback did. He's throwing on air for 2.5, 3 quarters of that football game. So I'm not going to derail the show. I just thought you could have been better. You know it's about the team. Okay, you come on. You're hooting the golf train. You're saying all aboard, all this stuff you always do. Like, you know he was outplayed by Josh Allen. Our whole team was. Your quarterback might have put up a bunch of empty numbers. And yes, the score looked good late. But he could have done a lot better earlier to make this a real football game, and instead he came out like Statty used to and sleptwalked through 2 quarters and then tried to show up late and look at what I did and still took the L. That's what it is. Dude, so just say what it is.
That's ridiculous, man. Like, first of all, I said I acknowledge that we lost. It said it wasn't a big deal. People are jumping off the wagon. Oh my God, we're not making the Super Bowl now. Like, no one's touting that on this show. I told you we weren't touting that show. All I'm saying is that statistically, it was not that bad. Like, okay, look, we lost. I get it. But you want to blame, you and anyone else who wants to say that Jared Goff is the reason we lost this game, you didn't watch the game because our defense didn't stop anything. And I understand that we are literally starting players that were working at Applebee's last night for Dan Campbell, but the defense is what cost us this game, not Jared Goff and his stats.
First of all, you know it's the bowling alley. Second of all, let's keep it moving.
It's Applebee's, Dan Campbell manager. He's recruiting from Applebee's.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Dan freaking Campbell in a bit. But don't you worry, people out there. All right, let's look at this football game because I'm looking at it right now. 14-zip before I can blink in the first quarter. So that's first and foremost. Oh, 2 Josh Allen touchdowns, by the way. Then we get a nice little scramble by Jared Goff, a little throw to Tim Patrick, a beautiful effort by Tim Patrick. Okay, 14-7, here we come. Next thing you know, they go right down the field. James Cook, 6-yard touchdown. And then we come back with this, I mean, Chops, I don't even know how you want to break this down. Another Ben Genius just cooked this one up in the oven. I mean, Ben Johnson, I mean, we love you on this show.
Ben Johnson, you are my hero.
All right.
All right, exactly.
Ben Johnson, I love you.
Like, did he really throw a pass to Dan Skipper? Did Dan Skipper really report eligible to the end zone in this football game and run over a corner for no reason? Did that really happen?
Dan Skipper reporting eligible in the second quarter for a touchdown pass from my boy Jared Goff.
Was it me too, or did I see in another game where like a guy that should have got me a fantasy touchdown that would have helped my team was taken off the board because the guy didn't report? He just walked in the huddle, and then I don't know. I don't know what's going on with these people, but apparently Mr. Skipper did it up right. I can't believe he caught a pass. I can't believe he rumbled for like 10 yards, whatever it was. What was it here in the old stat book? 9 big yards from Dan Skip, and like I say, looking to take somebody's head off in the end zone. So I'm looking at this like halftime, 21-14. Your quarterback didn't do much. Their team played great. Okay, we're down a touchdown, not a big deal. Until they come out in the third quarter, James Cook goes for a 41-yard tug, just runs through our defense, untouched except for the dread that Kerbo, I think, pulled off during this.
That was Golf's
here.
fault. That was Golf's fault. Yep. He should have stopped James Cook on that one.
Exactly. I mean, after the James Cook touchdown, I'm not seeing anything from Mr. JG16, as you call him here, because next thing you know, another touchdown to Shakir, who I got in a bunch of battles with people about. They're telling me he's the best thing since sliced bread. He's going to be this great receiver. He's like, he's okay, but he ends up finding the end zone. 35-14, chop. And then we get a touchdown from Amon-Ra. Very majestic. Like, this was a great throw by Jared Goff, an incredible catch by Amon-Ra. Just like snatched it out of the air and then goes to the end zone for house call. I loved everything about it. I mean, what a freaking play but still, even after this, 35-21. I mean, that's after 3 quarters of football, Choppy. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, how are we down multiple scores in our house after a 66-yard tug to your boy? You might as well do the gimmick, or I can play the drop, whatever you'd like.
Well, I also want. There it is. That's the recorded version. I can give you their own. Amon-Ra on 3rd and 17. By the way, 66 yards, just beautiful.
It was absolutely incredible. So shout out to your quarterback. Speaking of, before we get to the fourth quarter, you want to know another reason I had to call you to task in the before we even got to this preview? You want to know?
Oh gosh, please. Yes, I don't, but you're gonna tell me, so go ahead.
Chop. I know this show isn't about my fantasy teams, but I swear I've finished top 3 in every league. I've lost every league in the first round of the playoffs. I played Jared Goff in a big-time league, if you know what I mean. He scored me 45 plus points. I was going against Devontae Adams and Lamar, of course. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't get me 6 more yards, which would have got me to the 500, which would have got me a 10-plus bonus. I would have won, but instead he went 6 yards short. I lost by 2. There you go. That's the other reason I'm pissed. But
so
this is
it
where
all okay. It's all.
I don't even want to go down that because I'll just get on Oakley rant.
It's all clear now. It all makes sense, Oakley. All that ranting and raving, it just made sense. You needed Jared Goff to get you 5 or 6 more yards to win some fantasy matchup, and since he didn't, his 44 points wasn't enough for you. You needed 54,
right?
And then you're gonna blame the whole loss on him. I got you. Okay,
exactly. I don't even want to go because I'm very upset. I had a tremendous fantasy year. across the board. I've got screwed. I'm probably still going to beat you in the Kool-Aid League. There's no question about that. But like, what the heck? And what about the pass late to Tim Patrick that he airmailed? I mean, come on. And anyway, like, this is what I'm talking about. But the empty yards though from your quarterback. It's 35-21 heading into the fourth before he really even gets anything cooking. And what do you think the Bills were doing? Sleepwalking on defense. Got a big lead. Just don't let anything up over the top. They get a field goal, and then next thing you know, we get a 12-yard pass that ends up finding the end zone to a guy who's a multi-dimensional, positionless. Wait for it. Elite weapon. Jahmyr Gibbs, who will need quite a bit more now, which I'm excited about. We'll get to that in a bit. But then Ray Davis finds the end zone, 45-28, and then what do you know? They drive back down. They get another touchdown to the elite weapon, Jahmyr Gibbs, and 35-45. Then there's another field goal, 48-35, and your boy gets a bunch of cheap yards and a touchdown. Hashtag JMOFest to end the game, 48-42. We can't pick up onside. We're kicking onside, quote unquote, too early, even though we're down 2 or 3 scores. Then we kind of got one late that we didn't get because there was an 18-man pileup for 10 minutes that cost us the football game. Like, I don't even know. Do people want us really to do deep dive breakdowns on Dan Campbell doing onside kicks when we're down multiple scores? Do people want us to break down every little play in this game? Or do they want to just hear me go crazy because we lost to Buffalo, we gave up 48, you hear pumping up your quarterback who didn't do much of anything, I see, until quarter 4, if my eyes don't deceive me here. And we lost a football game that I don't think we should have lost.
I mean, if you can say that, you know, over 500 total yards and 5 touchdown passes and a rating of 118 did nothing.
Right back to the quarterback.
Then I don't want to. Then I don't even. There's nothing that I can say that will make you change your mind. If that is nothing, then fine. And again, you want to talk about it. Like, how many times did we force Buffalo to punt? How many times? They missed a field goal, so we get the ball in there. They punted once in the second half. Once total in the game. Okay? Their only non-scoring possessions were a missed field goal and 1 punt. And yet somehow any of this happens to fall on the offense. So no.
What you're failing to realize is they sucked in the beginning when the other team was trying and it was even. He started to ball. They started to put up points when the other team's up 2 to 3 touchdowns. Yes, I'm pretty sure they're not locking up. They're not zoned in as they were. They're not guarding up, face up.
Well, they better be against the Lions.
They're giving room. Oh my god.
They better be. I mean, you can't sleep on these Lions. You know that they can score. They've scored 28 points in a quarter before. You can't sleep on them. So if you gave up, if Buffalo could have been a little more lackadaisical because they knew they could just slice through our defense like a hot knife through butter, maybe. But I mean, again, at half, 21-14. That's yeah, that's right. Get the cornbread with that hot butter. But that's how they were cutting through the defense. So. I'll double down on your take too. Like, does anyone really want us to give a huge long soliloquy about the onside kick with 12 minutes left? How do you feel about that, Oakley? Do you think that it cost us? Why is Dan Campbell doing this? When's he gonna learn? Is he ever gonna this is gonna cost us a Super Bowl, Oakley? Okay, go on.
Because we can do that all day because we could say, what a dumb decision. How could he do such a thing? Because it didn't work. If it works, we're like, this is Dan freaking Gamble, everybody. Look at this guy. He's a wheeling, dealing son of a gun. Like, yeah, we could do that all day, just like local radio and all these people.
Guy needs a wheelbarrow to carry his stones.
I know. I guess my whole beef, and we'll just sum it up like this, is you came out with a slow, terrible start offensively. You let them get 2 easy drives and 2 walk-in touchdowns for Josh Allen, got his confidence going. He made a few plays off script, out of the pocket. Our defense was terrible, as you said. Charles agrees.
That's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely garbage the whole game. But this was a Goff Stafford-esque game. Lots of points, lots of late hoorah. The game was basically over at 35-21. We made it close. I kept texting people going, we will get points. We will make this close. We have to get stops and turnovers at some point, and we never did. That's why you lose. You can't get a turnover and you can't get the other team off the field. You will lose, especially when your offense goes 3 and out for the first 2 times and puts us down 14-zip.
Listen, again, yes, down 14-0, and they responded and made it 21-14 in the half. So, again, the biggest problem is your defense has got to stop something, right? You can't force one punt and one missed field goal be the only non-scoring drives in a game and expect to win. So it's just craziness. And again, bigger news out of this game for me, honestly, more injuries. Getting into it now.
Crap.
I know you don't give a crap, Dan Campbell. I know you don't, and I don't, and I'm not going to also sit here and go, "Oh, the season's over. Was this was our Super Bowl because we're not going to make it now?" No, it's next man up. But still, these are really piling up, Okrie. They're really piling. The numbers are mind-boggling and almost comical with how many injuries we have.
So, as me and you often do, we always say, like, hey, let's try to keep our show to this amount of time. Let's talk about even though we just hit record and go, and, we're already 20 minutes in, but we have to get into this, Chops, because I could have taken the loss. Yes, I was disappointed in your quarterback. Yes, JMO should have caught the Willie Mays over the shoulder. Yeah, we could have done a few things better. Yes, he could have got me 6 more yards, help me win a fantasy matchup. Yeah. We could have done a lot of stuff. We could have actually played defense, covered a coffee table. We didn't do any of those things. But the reason I'm so pissed and so concerned, to be honest, if they were just lost, hey, no big deal. To lose all the big name players that we've lost. These are guys we've paid. These are starters. These are all pro players. To lose those type of guys, and for people to have the audacity, in my opinion, it's all about grit. It's all about we're going to fight through. Dan Campbell doesn't give a crap about injuries. Okay, congratulations, tough guy.
I don't give a crap.
I love this promo. We'll get to that here in a bit. But, they're backups for a reason, man. You can't just lose. I thought I heard something today, something stupid, 29 defensive players have either been out or on IR this year. We're all these different combinations. And, oh, by the way, Hutch, McNeil, all our linebackers. We're losing corners now that we've paid or traded for. That's why I'm concerned, and I think that's a tangible reason to not only be upset, but be discouraged more so than just this L in a shootout that we took.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. You look at our IR list is like half of an NFL roster right now. It's insane. I can run down the list, and again, like you said, Okrie, it's not the, yeah, I'm not going to go, oh my gosh, John Kaminsky at the beginning of the year, Kyle Pecco, those, these are big names. Hutch, Aleem, Davenport, Anzalone, Barnes, Rodrigo, now the Carlton, Ennis, Demo, D-Money. These are big names. These are all pro, huge names on the list. And I think we've been saying this all year, or hey, and again, as we were winning all these games, I'm like, nothing can stop us. The only thing that can stop us is we get a major injury at quarterback, or these injuries keep mounting up, and they have. And I am not going to use it as a crutch. I'm not going to use it as an excuse. And Dan freaking Campbell isn't going to, and Aaron Great won't, and Ben Genius certainly won't. But man, these names and these injuries are adding up and adding up and adding up. And this might get me into a little bit of a question of what in the world is going on with NFL practice squads? If teams are signing dudes out from the bowling alley and from Applebee's, why are these guys on somebody's practice squad? I don't understand this whole oh yeah, hey, let's call this dude. He hasn't snapped a football or been on a field in 3 months, but he's better than these 16 dudes on this practice squad. Can someone explain that to me? Anyone?
Chop, let's do this. We always get our great sponsors in. We pump up the people. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix in sponsors throughout. Everybody, please listen. Please go check out those sponsors. Please fast forward through if you'd like. It doesn't matter. Those really, really, really help out the show. That's why we got to have them in there. But Chops, I don't want to stop this conversation, so we're just going to keep the show rolling. I'll mix in the ads as needed. But the thing, our boy Brad, always open for business homes, he finds talent. He brings in great guys. Excuse me. But how How many times can he do that? Like, how many, how much, how long? Because the list is so dang long that I feel, to be honest, I want to come in here and serve up Kool-Aid and cornbread. I feel like we've reached a stage where I can't go Dan freaking Campbell and just yell into the microphone and talk about, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to be fine, no big deal. I think it is a big deal. Am I quitting on my football team? Never. Are my expectations much lower than they were a week or two ago? Yeah, to be honest, they were. But weeks and weeks ago, I told you I can't see this team winning a Super Bowl without Aiden Hutchinson, without some of the other guys they had. And now you're dumping 3, 4, 5 plus more starters on that roster. Like, I think what needs to happen is, like, battle your ass off to try to get that number 1 seed. See if you can get a nice matchup against somebody. Get a couple guys back, hopefully by that point, and win a game or two and see what happens. But I'm at the point now where, like, yes, this has been a magical year. Yes, we're 12-2, but the same people that are calling up the radio going, why are you guys complaining about an 11-1 or 12-2 football team? Because this isn't the same 11-1, 12-2 football team that got us to those records. That's why. You can't just act like they're exactly the same across the board. Yes, they have a great heartbeat, a great culture, a great leadership, all that stuff. But when you're losing bodies, if you had the same roster and the same talent, you wouldn't have won 12 games at this point. You would have had probably like 9, 10 in that range. You would have lost a couple more games. So, I don't know. That's where I'm at, Choppy. It's like, I'm down because I don't know how you win without Hutch, McNeil, the Carlton, all these top guys that you need to be able to win ball games. And then, like you say, Demo's our heartbeat when it comes to our physicality. But I'm like, anyway, I'm pass it to you because I got 18 million more things to say. Where are you at with all this craziness?
It's going to be an uphill battle. It really is. I mean, you've got, we have 12 wins for a reason. I mean, here's the thing, too. Like, you mentioned this earlier where Jahmyr Gibbs is really going to get a chance to be the number 1 guy. I'm actually excited about that. I think it's going to be cool to see what it's like when the to be the workhorse. I'm sure we'll see a little Netflix Craig. Come on, Craig. And we'll maybe get a little bit of, I don't know, whoever our number 3 guy is, but
Baki, 4th rounder.
Yeah, I know. Is he back from injury? Was he out? I thought he was hurt, but maybe not.
He just been running down on special teams doing wind sprints, but he'll be out there. I expect some nice things from Baki.
I'm sure you'll pick him up at some fantasy league too to try to squeak out a playoff. Oh wait, you're not in the playoffs anymore. Just one league, right? But anyway.
The Kool-Aid League. I'll beat you in the championship. And I want to hit on Gibbs though real quick because what I think is crazy is like you love your boy. What do you call him again? I think his name's Demo. It's Demo, right?
I mean, the people. Some people like Demo. Some people like D-Money.
Like, this is where I'm at with it, is like, he's been balling. I've been joking that he looks like he's going to fall over and tip over and sideways, yet he just runs people over and scores touchdowns. It's something to behold. Plus, I love doing the gimmick. But, like, I've also been calling for weeks and weeks, get the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. Because, I don't know, because he's elite. And, like, now I'll get to see that in full regalia. Like, how pissed do you think I am? Not only when I have him in fantasy, but when for 2, 3, maybe even a quarter, he doesn't even play. He isn't even out there. He doesn't touch the football. You don't throw it to him. He's not in packages. So I think that could actually be a weird, like, uptick, especially for this 3-game sample plus maybe a playoff game or 2 to get us to the promised land. So I'm actually excited about that, even though, like, I know you need the 2 people, you need the hammer, you need the electricity, you need them both. But I think if they can just find ways to use him more in the passing game, get him the football 20 times a game rather than, 12 rushes a game or whatever he's averaging, that could actually be a plus, to be honest, and see what he can do for multiple games. But I mean, Chops, let me throw this back to you. I'm looking at the Twitterverse. It's terror. Everyone's over, quit. You even heard I'm kind of somewhat in that realm. The local radio, a bunch of quitters. They just say it's over so they can get clicks and listens and they just, if something goes bad in their life, they're bailing. I'm not bailing. I'm also like in the side of, I don't think that you should just be oblivious to everything that's going on with the team. Because like I say, we're not the same team we were in training camp when we were all raring to go, healthy, just balling as we are now. But that's the NFL, as we've said before. It's all injuries all day, every day. Hutch says if they can make it to the Super Bowl, he'll be back. That's kind of good news. There's lots of craziness going on with people that are just done. Good luck. We'll see you next year. And then there's people that just could care less if we had 2 players on offense and 5 on defense. They're like, nope, this team's going to find a way, I believe. And it's got to be somewhere in the middle, to be honest.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere in the middle, agree. But I'm gonna do something here for you. Yeah. I'm gonna give you and the people some stats on why you don't need to be as doom and gloom, or not you, but the people don't need to be so doom and gloom and be so worried about the injuries. Okay.
All right, everybody. This goes out to my fantasy football fans out there. Now, you probably heard about Reality Sports Online, the most powerful fantasy sports platform where owners can build and manage their fantasy team like a real NFL general manager. But the question is, have you tried it? I mean, we're talking free agency, multi-year contracts, rookie drafts, multi-team trades. You can put franchise tags on guys. It's as close as you're going to get to being an NFL GM. But do you think it sounds complicated? It's not. I'm here to tell you it's the best thing about Reality Sports Online is it's just more fun than your normal fantasy league, but it doesn't take barely any more time. After all this, are you still not sure? I mean, come on now. You can test your general manager skills by going over to Reality Sports Online, call it RSO. Please go check out realitysportsonline.com right now.
Right now, we have a point differential of 177 points. That's number 1 in the NFL, people. And that is not only driven by some good defense that we've had, that is but driven by the total number of points, which is 459 points scored this year by our offense. Again, number 1 in the NFL. All right, yeah, we lost D-Mo, but I'm going to double down on your take of that just opens the door for Jahmyr Gibbs, the elite weapon, okay? So the offense is still going to click. We are still going to put up points, okay? Our defensive mentality is, right now, again, points against, 282, top 7 in the league. That's going to drop tremendously with all these injuries. But as long as our offense can continue to score and put up 40, 35, high 50, whatever, just keep putting up points, we can run and gun with any team. And Dan freaking Campbell, as we know, is the leader of men, is the alpha male, the motivator that's going to get guys to want to run through a brick wall for him. Okay? He's been doing it since day 1. So the offense is staying somewhat healthy, and we're going to continue to put up points. Okay, and I'm going to do this whole segment without mentioning my quarterback. We will continue to put up points. All right? If the defense can bend and not break, and we can just score 1 more point than every single team till the rest of the season, we can be fine. All right? I am not giving up on Super Bowl aspirations. Would it be nice to have Hutch? Yes. Does it suck that Aleem is out for the year? Yes. Would I really like to see Derek Barnes, Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez, all these other guys back on the field? Abso-freaking-lutely. But we are not giving up on this team. This team is not giving up on themselves. Dan freaking Campbell is ready to go. He doesn't want you to feel sorry for him. What he's going to do? He's going to come out and he's going to punch the Bears in the mouth next week. It's going to be brutal. So I would not want to be Chicago this week because this team's going to be ready. They're going to be angry and they're going to be pissed off. And these other guys coming in from Applebee's are going to be wanting to prove themselves to everybody else that the same old Lions are dead. These are still the brand new Lions. And we are not slowing down. Injuries be damned.
Woo! Hashtag choppy liking.
I appreciate all that. I really do. I was really waiting on the, all these numbers and these points and these stats. It must be some real good quarterback play. I mean, I know it hurts you not to just spiel on that for 10 minutes, but you got your numbers, you got all these, what we've done in the past. That was all great. You also mentioned Chicago.
The Bears are what we thought they were. What we thought they were.
Exactly. I mean, so we got to deal with them. Oh, it's out in the cold. We'll get to that here in a moment. But like, Chops, I can't buy into your numbers and your look at what we've done. We're going to outscore. We're going to do this because I guess I'm just caught up in the mode of like, I'm listening to Dan Campbell this morning drop expletives. I'm getting fired up by his optimism, by his alpha mentality. But the reason you kind of can't buy all of that boola boola, as you would say, is because like he doesn't have the horses that he did have. Like, do you think if Dan Campbell came out with that promo like 2 to 3 years ago when we had no talent and he couldn't score points and your quarterback was turning the football over like a machine, like, do you think it would have been like exciting to hear? Yeah. Do you think it would have happened on Sunday? No, he would have went out and got beat by 20 because we had a bunch of bumbling, bowling alley shoe sprayers out there that couldn't play. So that's where I'm at right now, is like, yes, we have enough people on offense and defense to, I don't even know what, like, I got to see it, I guess. Like, I guess you're just assuming. Do you think like Big Denim is just going to jump in and be a lean light? Do you think that, I heard people today saying, oh, well, our defense should be fine. You just kick Iffy in there. You move Brian Branch to corner. You kick a Meek inside. You move this guy off to the edge. You put these guys in the middle. You get Derek Barnes back, even though there's been no reports about that. You play Pittman, who we just got, and they've just fixed everything. And I'm like, that's a lot of moving parts, man. It's like, I have no doubt that we can beat the piss out of Chicago. That's first and foremost. Can we go out to San Francisco and win as well? Yes, because they've been a tire fire this year. But yeah, that'd be a little bit tough, especially if you aren't rolling offensively and our D is still clunky. That could be a tough one. You don't want to drop one before that big Minnesota game. And yeah, I mean, I'll take my chances against Minnesota in our house with our offense versus their, blitz heavy D. But I'm just here to tell you, like, I don't like the bravado when you don't have enough dogs to back you up. Then it's just talk, which I hate to even say that, because we all love Dan freaky Campbell. We love that mentality, but I just don't want it to be where he comes out, barks in the microphone at the radio, says we're going to do this, says we're going to do that. Your quarterback comes on the radio, we're going to be just fine. Don't worry. Tell everybody to be positive. Get your spirits up. Oh, everyone's saying we can't do it. And then they realize that they're more damaged than they wanted to tell themselves, because they're ultra alpha positive guys that don't even want to look at it. I don't care who's hurt. Well, you should care because it matters.
Oakley, again, you can't have your again, and this isn't directed at you, but I'm directing it at you because you're the one saying
right.
it. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. All right, what do you want them to do? Come out and go, well, yep. Sorry, guys. I mean, there's just really no way for us to come out and beat Minnesota in that last game. And, probably going to get knocked out in the first round because we're going to lose the first round. No, what is he going to, of course he's not going to come out and say that. Like, of course he's going to come out and he's going to be ultra positive. But again, he has backed it up, Oakley. I mean, do you remember what we did, 3 seasons ago when I think we were like, I don't know, 2-9, like 2-8? He ripped off a whole bunch of wins, okay, with this ragtag squad, and we've added talent along the way, and guys have developed. But again, with this offense, yes, our defense is the Bills are gonna do what, or other teams are gonna do what the Bills just did to us, right? They're gonna put up points, okay. But also, don't forget that the Bills are the second most lethal offense in the league behind us. So it wasn't like some schlubby crap Colts team just came out and ran the field all over us. Like, we just played a very elite offense in the Bills, okay? So we lost McNeil for half the game. We had other injuries early on, and the defense looked like it. They're going to have a week to recuperate. They're going to have to make some scheme changes, to make some moves. And again, they're going to have a tune-up game against Chicago on Sunday. So let's roll with that. Let's figure it out. Get a couple guys back. Let the offense be elite and let the defense just hold it together, and let's see how it goes. But I will take this team over any Tampa, any wild card team. Minnesota still does not scare me. They're like the biggest fraud of a 12-2 team I've ever seen in my life. I said the same damn thing when they had one loss when we beat them the first time. Like, San Francisco doesn't even know who they are. There's talks about them trading their coach. Okay, I'm not worried about San Fran, any of the other people. Debo doesn't want to play football. Brock Purdy doesn't even remember who he was 2 years ago. Like, none of these teams scare me, okay? But let's just roll into the playoffs and see what happens. I am not doom and gloom at all. Would I like to have all those guys on defense? Yes. Would I like to have Hutch? Of course. Do I want Lee McNeil back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you said you want them. You said you want them. What I'll agree with you is your point of saying let's roll into the playoffs with the number 1 seed. We must do whatever we have to get that. And yes, see what happens is fine, but our expectations 2 weeks ago were we're going to slap the piss out of the Kansas City Chiefs because we're the best team in the National Football League. I don't have that same bravado today, even if Dan freaking Campbell does, because I'm looking at all the guys that are out. I don't live and work in the building. I don't know what everything they have cooked up, but let's bring it back to what we can understand or what the listeners can understand. Week 1 of your fantasy matchup, when all your guys are ready, you feel great. After the draft, you feel great. If it's week 8 and half your roster's hurt and you're rolling out bums, you're probably not talking as much noise. Yes, you hope you're going to win every week. You don't feel as good about it. You don't roll in there, and you know better than anybody, especially in our big-time RSO leagues, you kind of know when you're too beat up to compete. And we don't come out and say it, but we also don't sit there and pound our chest and talk about, we're going to be the same team we always were. Well, we're not, because you don't have some of your top dogs. So, like, you just seem very, solidified that these guys are just going to fill in defensively and get us by, and your boy and my boy Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon Ra and all these guys are going to just pick it up even more. I mean, we're scoring 42, 50 some, 30 some. Like, can they really keep that cooking to that type of level to just win us ball games, scoreboard be damned? I mean, I'm with you.
Yes.
That seems to be the path.
Yes, they can, Okri. There's been one game this year where they scored less than 20 points. Okay, I mean, again, they've got more 40-point games than they have 20-point games. Okay, like, yes, they can. They will. They will continue to be elite. They will continue to carry the load. I mean, we got spoiled. Again, remember early on when the defense wasn't really clicking and then it started clicking? Like, they're going to be ready. So the offense is just going to keep doing what the offense is doing, and the defense is going to they're going to struggle, but they're going to have to get by. And I believe that they can. So again, you're starting to sound like some of these other people, man. Like, this is the Koolaid Cast. Serve some Kool-Aid, oh great.
I understand, but part of my thing today was I wanted to come on and like say that I'm always repping my team, but my expectations and my hopes are down because of the reality of our situation now. I mean, you can serve up Kool-Aid with a triple side of cornbread, but like, you also have to realize that we need guys that can stop the run, get after the quarterback, make plays on the football when they're slinging it around on us all day. I don't care how many points you get when you go get 42. When you can't stop anyone, you lose by 6. I mean, those are the things that happen. So
let's lose by 6 to the best offensive team in the league, not named the Detroit Lions. Okay, if that would have been almost any other team, and we put up 42 points, we would beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, we would have with 42 points. Have you seen what the Chiefs are doing? They're not making the Super Bowl this year. Okay, putting up 42 points against almost any team in the league is going to win you games almost every time.
Hold on, here's some Kool-Aid for you, because we could just go back and forth all day. You mentioned the Chiefs last year. Heading into the playoffs, even through the year, everyone, man, this is not a very good Chiefs team. Oh, man, they're beat up. They're missing X, Y, and Z. They found ways to win. They won ugly. They got to the big game, and then they found a way to win that one.
Every single game.
Yeah, that too. But I'm saying that's an example of some Kool-Aid and cornbread that if you're able just to find ways to win and win however you got to, as Dan Campbell said he's going to, by 1 point, by whatever, 50 yards a game, 500 yards a game. If you can do that, you can tick off wins, and next thing you know, if we get the number 1 seed, here's more Kool-Aid for you. Like, we have to win 2 football games to be in New Orleans. 2 against teams that we don't even know. It could be like a hodgepodge of teams, or it could be Philly and Minnie, or Philly and Green Bay, whoever. Like, it doesn't matter. You got to only win 2 football games, and they're in your house. So that's where I'm excited, because nobody should be able to beat us. You're going on and on about the Buffalo being this number one because you're just reading off your numbers off your stat sheet. That's not a team I'm afraid of, to be honest. I mean, Josh Allen, I knew he's a freak. He can run. He can throw the ball like 60 yards with a flick of his wrist. But I'm not shaking in my boots at Kincaid or Shakir. I didn't even see Amari Cooper all day. You know, Keon Coleman's not that good. So they have some numbers that say they've done X, Y, and Z, but I'm much more scared of the Eagles and even Minnesota when it comes to the players they have and who they are as teams than Buffalo. I mean, I could see Buffalo just getting bounced in the first round again and everybody being like, oh, I thought they were... Yeah, they ain't that great, as they say here on the pod. So they put up a bunch of points, but they don't have elite weapons. I don't know. I'm frustrated right now, Choppy. I guess I'm just looking at it like, yes, you could say I'm sounding like the other people. What I'm trying to do is walk that line between Kool-Aid drinker, loyal, crazy fan, and also a guy that looks at the roster and says, scratch off that edge rusher, scratch off that all-pro interior defensive player, scratch off 3 linebackers. Hey, that corner that we went that's been balling and has grit mentality, he gone. Oh, hey, our running back who just beats people up and scores multiple touchdowns a game, he gone. Like, that matters. How do you look at that and be like, oh, we're going to be fine because our offense is going to score 15 more points a game?
I'm not saying it doesn't matter, Okri. I'm not, okay? I've said it all along. The defense is going to struggle. But I still believe in this coaching staff. I still believe in this mentality, this next man up, this grit mentality that we have. It doesn't just stop at the starters. It goes all the way through to the backups in the practice squad. It's a total culture.
So that's
it's a culture of winning. It's a culture of stepping up and doing things that people don't think that you can do. Okay? And I think that the defense is going to find ways to get things done. And I will say the only team in the NFC that actually scares me, and I don't even want to use the term scares me, by the way, but I think like it will be a dogfight, is Philadelphia. Okay? That's it. None of these other teams, I mean, run them off. Washington, I mean, come on. Minnesota, we know what we can do against Minnesota. Green Bay, we know what we can do against them. Tampa, yeah, we had a blip there. Okay, great. We're not losing them in the playoffs. And then who's going to win the other division? The Rams or the Sea Chickens? Give me a break, dude. No one. Our first round matchup is probably going to be some terrible team like Washington who squeaks by a wild card or something stupid like that. And then we're going to get Philly in this NFC Championship game, and we're going to go toe-to-toe with them. And Hutch might be back, or so-and-so might be back. And then we're going to go and play either Buffalo or the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. Mark it.
Oh man, see, Mark, like the reason your logic is flawed, in my opinion, is you're saying, "Oh, you already saw what we did against this team and that team." Yeah, the previous Lions team of weeks ago that had more ballers at more spots that helped the D and the O. We now don't have that, so I don't know what we're going to do against Minnie. I don't know what we're going to do against Green Bay if we played them with this construction of football players. And what I wanted to ask you, you know, when I have Logan Landry,
if you want to crown them, you want to quit on your team, then quit on your team. But I'm not doing it. I refuse. That it's a loser's mentality, and I'm not even entertaining it.
I'm not quitting on my team. I'm about to put you to task. You're not acknowledging what's out in front of your face. You're trying to dance around it and douse it in Kool-Aid and cornbread. I'm trying to be real with you right now. And the thing I want to ask you is every time Logan Lamorandier from Sports Illustrated comes on here and starts talking about draft prospects and height, weight, speed, and how fast they run, how far their 3-cone is, what do I say? What are they made of? What's their character like? Do they love football? Those are the things that determine a draft prospect that's going to ball for 10 years versus a guy that got everything on paper and all the potential and that washes out because he doesn't love the game and he's going to be in the police blotter and all that. So what you're telling me is that our grit, our culture, our leadership, our coaching is going to make up for all these player injuries, and we're going to just scheme our way to dubs. We're going to out physical people. We're going to out leadership people, out stink you, and win ball games. And if you're saying that, I'm going to not only believe that, that's what we have to hang on to. Not the fallacy that we are the same talented team as we were in week 6. Because we're not, but we still have the same coaches, the same
grit. You keep arguing the same point, and you're not even listening to what I'm saying. I did not say that our defense is just going to shut people down like they did when we played them the first time in week 6. What I said is the defense is going to struggle, but as a team, as a culture, as a group of leaders, as a group of coaches, I believe that they can get the job done. Nowhere did I say at no point in time in any of my Kool-Aid serving did I be like, we're still going to shut teams out. We're going to hold them to 10 points or less. No, I didn't say that. I said the defense is going to struggle. Do I want these players? Yes. But I believe in this coaching staff. I believe in this culture. I believe that Dan freaking Campbell is one of the greatest leaders of men, and he's going to have players ready to play. Okay, maybe the guy was at the bowling alley, but if he can get in there and play the way he's going to play and can actually fit the culture and can actually do, and again, I believe in the assistant coaches to drop good schemes, to have the best tape and have the best game plan, because Ben Genius always has the best game plan on offense, and Aaron Glenn has had a hell of a defensive strategy this whole season.
Yes, you're missing my point, because when have I come on this whole show and said, I don't believe in Dan Campbell anymore. I don't think these coaches can get us going. I don't think we have grit anymore. I didn't say that once on this show. I'm talking about the players at key positions that are now not only like dinged or sore, but are gone and not coming back, maybe till midway through next year with some of these crazy injuries. That has to be acknowledged. And you're saying you acknowledge it by, our defense won't be good, but Oakley, don't worry. Good old JG16, the old golf train's going to go rolling down the tracks. We're going to ball out. We're going to outscore people. Like, I'm going to jump on board with that because I have no other choice. But our defense is going to have to figure its ways. So, like, as we look at the Chicago game to kind of preview and button it up for the people, like, your boy doesn't play good out in the cold. I heard it's going to be like 10 but sunny. So we got that going for us. We also, like, are coming off all these injuries playing a piss-poor Chicago team. Shout out at Joey Sports Guy. I'm sure he's not happy. I've talked to him a couple times, a few texts here and there, and he just wants everybody gone and not as excited about his love child Caleb as he was. Why would you be? The guy's completely lost and completely a pansy and just, like, looks like he hates his life every time he drops back to pass and gets killed. So it's like, Chops, we have an awesome opportunity to just galvanize our guys, go beat a bad team in their house in kind of bad weather, and then step to the podium and say, see, I told you guys we're going to be good. I told you we're going to be set. Jared Goff, with all this moxie and confidence in the world, be able to shove it down everybody's throat. I'm good with all that because it's another Dubski. But then you got to really grind up against two better teams, find ways to win so that you don't, slip out of number 1, lose the NFC North. Those are all actual possibilities that we didn't even talk about, and I know you don't want to talk about them, but I'm bringing them up today because they're much more real realities now than they were 5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Like, they have to be talked about and considered based on what we're bringing, unless we go to Chicago, score 50, defense gets a bunch of turnovers, and we don't even know the difference. But then you got to go do that in San Fran and against Minnie before a lot of people will believe it. And I feel like in a way we're playing with house money now. We got great record, great culture, great coaches, really good guys still with my boy, Brian Branch, Gibbs, Amon-Ra's out there. He's totally good to go. You got other players, Kerbo. Like, you got all these people, so we're not empty. The cupboards aren't empty, don't get me wrong. But, like, I need to see what this team looks like against a good team that it's going to be hard to outscore or going to be hard to D up against. And that's not going to happen against Chicago. So I feel like I'm excited to see, but this is a perfect team to go play when we're trying to get ourselves figured out. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to do this, Okri, but I feel like you're kind of putting me in the corner here. Okay, we still got Zadarius Smith. Okay, we got DJ Reader. We got your boy, Josh Pascal. You still got Jack Campbell. You still got Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson. Like, right. It's not like, well, I'm playing my fourth stringer at every single defensive position. And yes, I know we got to rotate guys in. Okay, I'm not saying that the starting 11 are going to just be able to play because, like, again, some of these guys cannot play the whole 100% snap count. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
I like when you named off those names, because when people hear the names and Dan Campbell said I could rattle them off to you, just rattle them off. Like, they're good, and some of them are great players. They're also Detroit guys, so we love them all. Yep. We level them up. Like even Josh Pascal, my boy. Like I'm a little sour on Josh Pascal, and I could break down why, but we don't have time for it. So it's like maybe he finds a way to step his game up. Maybe he's a little bit better rather than just edge setting. Finds a way to get after the QB or make a few more impactful plays. Same with DJ Reed or some of these guys that we're like putting on there. Hey, we still got that guy. I did a half rant about Jack Campbell. We love him for all the things, but has he made any big impact plays in, 5, 6, 8 weeks? Not really. He's just been meat and potatoes solid. So I like that you named off everybody because it reminds me, oh yeah, we got all these guys. Like maybe they'll step up. Maybe they can play together. Maybe they'll be the new. But it really is going to lean on, like even Frank had a bad game last week, which was surprising. Penalties, getting run over. You don't want to see that again. You got these, Amon-Ra has his all-time record for yards in a crazy day. Your quarterback has all these numbers. Like I'm excited about Gibbs. So like you're right. Like you're pulling me back from the people that just, hey, these injuries, no way we're making a playoff run. We're going to lose this. Like, you got to let it play out a little bit more. I guess it's just disconcerting because the football season, too, is such a long season, Chops. And here we are at Chicago, week 15, game 15, whatever. Like, we got a great record. We had everything lined up. And to have it somewhat feel like it may be taken away due to injuries, which we can't control, I guess it just got me all frustrated here on the show today.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Look, don't get me wrong. When I'm rattling off all those names, how amazing would it be? Oh, I got Zadarius Smith, and across from him, Aiden Hutchinson. I got DJ Reader in the middle, and right next to him. Yeah, exactly. AKAs in there. Like, I get it, man. I want these dudes in there. I do. I really do. But like you say, and everyone else likes to say, any given Sunday, okay? Maybe this given Sunday is the day that Kendall Vidor makes some amazing interception that we needed to seal a game. Maybe this is the week that Amik Robertson establishes himself as a better corner than we thought he was going to be. Maybe Emmanuel Mosley steps up and coming off a back-to-back injuries and is able to perform. Terrion Arnold is getting overlooked for how amazing of a rookie season he's had because, again, the penalty issues that he's got, but he's still playing a ton of man coverage. He's still kicking a lot of butt out there. Like any given Sunday, I'm still believing in these guys. These guys believe in themselves and they believe in Dan Campbell and Dan Campbell believes in them. And I don't care what anybody says. That means something in this league. Okay, it does. You've watched players that refuse to go out on the field and play for their coach, a coach who's won a Super Bowl, by the way. Okay, you're watching crap like that happen in this league. No one on this team is doing that. No one. Okay, that's not this culture, not on this field, not with this coach, not with this brand new Lions team. So I'm going to continue to serve the Kool-Aid, all right? And I think the offense is going to keep banging, and I think they're going to keep putting up points, and I think the defense is going to have to find a way. Are they going to stumble? Yes. Will they have a drive where you're just like, oh my gosh, can we just get a stop? No, there's going to be times where we can't. But I think that these guys believe, and if you look at Dave Campbell and Ben Johnson, look at Jared Goff in the eyes and say, I need you to get me one more touchdown. Go get it, JG16. He's going to look it over at Amon-Ra, and he's going to look at the Laporta supporters, and he's going to look over at Tim Patrick, and he's going to look at your boy, the elite, Jahmyr Gibbs, and he's going to go, all right, boys, let's go. We need one more faux show. Let's go for Demo.
All right, so basically what Chops is saying is, he doesn't give a crap.
And I don't give a crap.
He's also saying this a lot during the show.
I don't want your bula support when it comes to Jared Goff. You don't get to join the Goff train. You're off, bro. You're off.
All right, Chops, I understand.
Yeah, I understand. I got it in my head, dude.
All right.
So here's my Bears preview, Chops. This is not a trap game. Goff seems very determined. Let's see if he can ball out in the freezing cold outside. If he can, that'd be a nice little notch in his belt that I don't know if he has at this point. If he's going to be wearing the double gloves, I'm sure. The D needs and hopefully will show up, but it's TBD if you ask me. We'll see. I hope they play well. We're going to be better mentally, physically, more talented. Again, I already railed on Caleb because he deserves it, and he is that dude. 31-20, easy dub, and hashtag Gibbs gone wild in this ball game.
I love it. I love it. I'm just going to double it up. I don't care if Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell have to head over to Duffy's Tavern Grill in Chicago, the Lions bar in Chicago, to grab 12 dudes from the bar and say, come out and play linebacker. We are not losing to the Chicago Bears, okay? Woo-wee! It ain't happening, people. It doesn't matter what the over-under is. It doesn't matter what the line is, even though we're a 7.5-point favorite. The Lions are going to come out big. Lions! We're determined, and we're going to win 45-20. 45-20 because the offense is just going to pound and the D's going to give up some stuff, but they're going to get it together because it's, Chicago. No apologies, Joey.
Unbelievable. Another 45 burger to not many points from Chops. That's been a standard score for him for weeks and weeks. Chops, it was an interesting show. I mean, you had to talk me off the ledge. I probably leaned a little bit more towards the people that I can't stand. I didn't tell you how old I was. I didn't tell you how long I've been a season ticket holder. But yeah, I'm a little frustrated with the injuries and maybe them and the NFL and Vegas taking this season from us unfairly, but that's also TBD if you ask me. We'll see. You've got me fired up. I think that we can grit our way to some dubs. Hopefully we can get that number 1 seed, the NFC Championship game in our house against just about anybody. We'll take our chances, and if we come up short, all the DAWGs are coming back next year. We'll be healthy. We'll have another draft class from Brad, always open for business homes. We'll be raring to go. We'll have a bigger chip on our shoulder and we'll win it next year. And then the year after. And the year after. Because this team ain't going anywhere. So, everybody, that's what we got. We gave you 60 minutes. We gave you, we didn't break for commercials. I'm sure we got about 30 commercials in because everybody loves the Koolaid Cast, especially the people. You guys know that.
And the people consist of the millions.
So to the millions in our football team that's going to take care of Chicago, do some business, and still find a way to get this done. We'll talk about that and so much more next time right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. We're out.
No commercial breaks. All Kool-Aid.
Drink it in, drink it in, drink it in, man.
Cornbread!
Pack the bag, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions. Drink it in, man.